The FS-20 Vortex is a compact, lightweight, multi-role fighter interceptor with emphasis on VTOL and stealth capabilities. Its short, delta wing configuration and single-engine design provide for excellent subsonic acceleration and snappy maneuvering. However, these benefits come at the cost of survivability and fuel efficiency, limiting effective range and high-altitude combat capabilities. Like the Revoker, the Vortex is a high-strung, high-speed fighter craft that prefers to reach deep into its throttle range for the best handling. With short wings, the Vortex responds to commands almost instantly, granting evasive maneuvering rivaled only by the Revoker and even exceeding it at times, placing these two aircraft on nearly equal footing in a brawl. With true VTOL capabilities, the Vortex can access resupply anywhere that a supply truck is parked, allowing for frontline refuel and rearm normally available only to helicopters. Pilots should note that VTOL capability requires the afterburner to sustain, creating a significant thermal signature that missiles can exploit. Handling in VTOL mode is stable, but the aircraft is slow to respond to inputs, making it feel unwieldy and vulnerable. This is a tool for landing and takeoff only, not a helicopter mode for practical combat encounters. Further note that VTOL cannot bear the full payload this airframe can carry. When fully laden, the Vortex requires short runway takeoffs. Energy retention during maneuvering is poor, so it's important to throttle up before beginning evasive maneuvers or attack runs. The Vortex single engine is exceptionally powerful, in part, to compensate for the airframe's poor glide profile. Even with full engine power, it's possible for maneuvers to eat away at airspeed and force a stall. This means the Vortex needs short breaks between aggressive maneuvers to recover energy. Care should be taken when loading the Vortex near its max payload. Short wings increase agility but reduce lift, causing it to feel the mass of its ordnance more than other fighter craft. All maneuvers will feel less responsive, and increased drag may render supersonic flight impossible. When planning missions that require operating near max payload, prioritize the release of heavy ordnance first if possible. It may be necessary to dump this ordnance if engaged by a hostile aircraft at close range. While not as expansive as the Ifrit, multiple internal and external weapon mounts grant the Vortex similar flexibility. It can strike ground, sea, and air targets as required, though it remains the most at home fighting against other aircraft, where its compact frame and tight handling grant a substantial advantage. Stealth performance is excellent, but limits the Vortex to internally stored weapons. This more than halves its effective payload. While harder to detect, especially when flying low against terrain, the Vortex stealth can be pierced by most radar systems in the open sky. Using terrain, the Vortex can approach and ambush targets to great effect, but at the cost of engaging at close range, where it's highly vulnerable to counterattack. By sacrificing stealth, the Vortex can be equipped with heavy ground strike options like the Auger, ARAD, and AGM-99, allowing it to operate in dedicated ground attack roles as required. These weapons reduce maneuverability, speed, and range, so the Vortex is more reliant on logistics than larger platforms. While it can't venture far from a resupply point, the Vortex can use its VTOL system to resupply from a variety of sources unavailable to most fixed-wing platforms. The Vortex is best used as a carrier-based interceptor, and should be focused on air-to-air engagements when possible. Its utility as part of a rapid response force cannot be understated, so don't be afraid to use it for ground strikes when other options are not available. In these situations, it's critical to suppress hostile air defense in order to cover its vulnerability to damage. The Vortex pairs surprisingly well with the Chicane and Cricket, since both platforms can launch from compact carriers that the Vortex was designed to use. This allows the Vortex to focus on heavy ordnance or anti-fighter cover, supporting lighter aircraft in their own ground attack. Pilots should avoid direct combat with ballistic or missile-based AA of all types. These platforms can easily overwhelm the Vortex's limited defenses. Limited countermeasures, a strong thermal signature, and poor glide profile make the Vortex most vulnerable to thermal guidance. Missile pressure from the IRM-S1 and MMR-S3 are the most effective deterrents. The S3 is highly recommended for air-to-air engagement by other fixed-wing aircraft. These missiles should be fired from longer range when possible, and timed to force maximum load on decoy flare defenses. The Vortex cannot effectively evade thermal guidance without cutting thrust. This serves to interrupt its energy recovery and reduce its speed, placing the airframe at an increasing disadvantage over time. This is best done using platforms with an extended missile payload, making the Ifrit an excellent choice when fighting a Vortex at range. The Compass and other Vortex fighters fitted with S3 missiles are also effective. Preventing the Vortex from using its stealth is essential to preventing its effective use. This makes a radome-equipped Medusa E-warfare plane, flying at high altitudes, an excellent supplemental deterrence, as its radar can easily penetrate the Vortex stealth capabilities and track it over distance with less interference from terrain than other radar systems. Radar jamming also provides for irritation and distraction, warning Vortex pilots that they are being actively watched and suppressing their awareness of threats that may move against them. The Vortex is a powerful tool in the hands of focused, fast-thinking pilots who can prioritize targets and ignore distractions in service of critical objectives. It rewards the subtle flyer with top-tier stealth and responsive controls that enable some of the most evasive flying available in a manned aircraft. It rewards the practical thinker with a wide selection of tools that can readily prosecute almost any target, responding quickly to the unexpected attack or the sudden opportunity. The FS-20 Vortex, for they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. If you've made it this far, you probably liked the video. Be sure to show it with a click in the right place, and I'll catch you all later.